Stop using the attachment styles. They're actually ruining your relationships. That's a big claim. I'm going to break it down for you today so you can understand how it actually creates a limitation for you, your partner, and your relationship. So if you're new to my channel, thank you for joining me. My name is Lewis Huckstep. I'm a coach, I'm an author, I'm a speaker. I've coached over 10,000 people to find their life's purpose, to heal trauma, and build a life that they love, which includes their relationships. So I'm going to break this down for you guys today. The only favor I have for you for today is to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps more than you realize. It's going to share it with more people, so I get to help some more people. So thank you in advance. Let's begin. So if you've never heard of the attachment styles, go grab a YouTube video and just like YouTube or Google what they are. There's 4 types of attachment styles that are spoken about. There's the anxious, there's the avoidant, there's the fearful or disorganized, and the secure attachment. So essentially, it's how you relate in relationships. So if you're anxious attachment, you are someone who gets very needy, very people-pleasy, very attached to people, and very clingy to people. Second is your avoidant, or people that run away, people that avoid. So you are scared of closeness, being committed, and you want space. You like your alone time type of thing. Disorganized is a bit of both. So fearful or disorganized is a bit of both put together. And then the secure attachment is essentially people who are less triggered than others. Now, I want to break it down why I don't like using them. And it actually creates limitations. There's 3 things that I teach, and I teach a lot in my content. Number 1 is trauma. Now, you can also say limiting beliefs, but I'm going to use the word trauma for today, but you could also insert limiting beliefs in the example. So trauma is what happens inside of us from what we go through. It's a moment of overwhelm or underwhelm. And I'm going to break it down specifically and give you some examples of your own trauma today so this can all click in for you. It will be a specific trait, behavior, or a part of a person. Something that someone did or didn't do to you. Let's use some examples. Abandonment, rejection, criticism, judgment, controlling, manipulation, anger, lying, dismissed, invalidation. List goes on. There's 4,628 traits or parts of a human. So let's use an example for you. I want you to not judge your answers and just answer it authentically. Don't overthink the question. Just answer the question. Think of dad, your father, whoever played that role for you. In a one-word answer, what's the one thing you dislike most about this person? Anger, controlling, manipulation, dismissed, absent, avoidant, whatever the thing is. What's the one thing you dislike most about this person? Even if you love the person, still answer the question. Now, answer that a couple of times. 1, 2, 3 answers, if you can, of the things you dislike most about your dad. And again, even if he's passed away, even if you love him more than anything, still answer the question. Once you've done that, do the same thing for mum. What's the one thing you dislike most about mum or whoever played that role for you? You can actually do this for anyone. You can use it for ex-partners, current partners, siblings, bosses, people that you just don't like, people that you have emotional resistance towards. Think of those words that came up for you. They will be actions, inactions, traits, or parts of a human. It will be from a moment in time of overwhelm or underwhelm. Now, I'm going to just use some examples for this podcast. Insert your own answers. Let's use rejection or abandonment. Pick whatever words came up for you, use those words for you. This is trauma. This is a moment in time when something was overwhelming or underwhelming. Second to this, you create coping mechanisms. Now, this is what attachment styles label. So your coping mechanisms is what you do to overcompensate, overcome, protect, and hide yourself from the trauma. This can look like dissociation, running away, getting anxious, getting needy, overworking, smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol, whatever it may be, people pleasing, overachieving. The list goes on. It's the patterns that you developed to protect, hide, and overcompensate from your trauma. Third is a trigger. Something reminds you of the trauma and activates the coping mechanism. I say nothing triggers you, it reveals what's inside of you. So let's play this out. Use one of the words that you came up for mum and dad, and use the word that you have the most amount of resistance to, the word that you dislike the most. That word, and all of those words, are traumas of yours. When someone does these things to you, when someone does this trait or behavior to you, it will trigger you into a coping mechanism. This is where the attachment styles come into it. Attachment styles are labels. They're categories of coping mechanisms. If your coping mechanism is to run away and hide and avoid, you're avoidant. If you're Coping mechanism is to get anxious and to get really needy and people pleasy and clingy to someone, you're anxious. If you do a bit of both, which is everyone does all of them at some point in time. That's why people get confused. Am I anxious? Am I avoidant? What is it? It just depends what pattern or coping mechanism you've developed to overcompensate from trauma. That's what attachment styles are. And secure attachment. A secure attachment just means you're less triggered. That's what it means. Because guess what? No one's ever fully healed, as in has zero triggers. I've never met a single human. I've coached over 10,000 people and I meet new clients every single day. But I've never met a single human who's never triggered. I believe the healing journey is never fully done. There's always more layers to heal from. So when you hear the word that I'm securely attached, all that means is you're less triggered. I am more securely attached now than I was 10 years ago when I first started my journey to heal and integrate and do self-development. But do I still get triggered? Of course I do. I'm a human, and so do you. So the reason why I like to teach it this way, where essentially your attachment styles are categories of your coping mechanisms, is it empowers you to actually heal and move forward. Because this is the challenge I have with with attachment styles. This is the reason attachment styles ruin relationships. Your ego is your human identity. It's all your thoughts, beliefs, conditioning, everything you've been through, your conscious, unconscious, everything in your mind is your ego, your human identity. There's two main traits of the ego. Number one, it avoids pain. So that's why if someone was to ask you questions around your trauma, your insecurities, the things you're fearful about, you're probably going to deflect the conversation and not want to talk about it. Very normal. Second trait of the ego, it reinforces itself. This one is the challenge with attachment styles. I use this term a lot, not just with attachment styles, with other conversations. Labels become limitations. Listen again. Labels become limitations. I have heard from hundreds, if not thousands of clients now who have come to me saying, I have this anxious attachment, I have this attachment, my partner has this attachment, and this is why we can't work out together. It becomes a limitation. Your beliefs and perceptions shift the world you live in. It literally changes your neurochemistry and your biochemistry, your neural pathways, your psychology shifts with your beliefs and perceptions. You think a thought and it will change your biochemistry. You think a thought, it will rewire your mind. So whatever beliefs you have will become the filters, or your beliefs are the filters you see life through. You might have heard that quote from Dr. Wayne Dyer. He said, you don't see things the way they are. You see things the way you are. So that trait of the ego reinforcing itself, if you believe you have this attachment style, you have this anxious or this avoidant or fearful attachment style, guess what? You find more evidence to reaffirm it. That's why it's a fucking limitation, or it can become a limitation if you're not aware of this. And you do the same thing. It's like, oh, my partner, it's because they're avoidant. That's why they're doing what they're doing, which there's some truth to it. But the way I like to reframe it to empower you is just say, that's my partner's coping mechanisms. Fair enough. Because this is the thing. You can heal trauma. You can heal it. You just need to do a process on the wound, a process on the trauma, and the trauma, the coping mechanisms, and the triggers go away. And that's how you move towards a more secure attachment. I hope this is landing for you. And I get passionate about it because it's frustrating when people come and say, I can't make this work because I'm anxious and they're avoidant, or I'm avoidant and they're anxious. It just doesn't work. That fucks up relationships. It limits people. If you just reword it to, I've got some trauma, so does my partner, so does fucking every human on the planet, and these are my coping patterns. If you find what the trauma is and integrate and heal that wound, guess what? The coping mechanisms and the triggers go away. And you actually move towards a more, quote, secure attachment. In other words, you're less triggered. Hope this makes sense. Now, I wanted to give you guys these 3 steps. These are the 3 steps I recommend for anyone who's wanting a healthy, conscious relationship. If you don't want a healthy, conscious relationship, jump off this podcast. You probably won't enjoy this section, huh? So you probably are, because you've got this far through the podcast. So 3 things you need. Number 1, both partners individually take responsibility over their individual trauma, triggers, insecurities, their shit. Because if you can't or don't take ownership of your stuff, what are you going to do? You're going to project, you're going to blame, you're going to manipulate, you're going to play victim. You're going to blame your partner that they're the one that's fucking you up when you've attracted them to mirror the shit you haven't worked on yet. You attract people and circumstances to reveal where you have not healed. Your intimate relationships and the world is a mirror to you. So you might have heard your perception is a projection, meaning when you get triggered, nothing triggers you, it reveals what's inside of you. They're mirroring something back to you haven't worked on. Now, I talk about triggers versus boundaries, by the way. A trigger is when you get activated. A boundary is when someone oversteps a standard that you hold them to. And that's where you enforce boundaries in a healthy way. But if you get triggered, it's still something for you to work on. I like this quote from Peter Crone. He says it really nicely. He says, if it's not life-threatening, it's just ego-threatening. So if you're actually in fight or flight, if a tiger comes into your room, if you're about to get hit by a car or you're actually in danger, yes, you will get naturally triggered into fight or flight. That's what we do as humans, right? So it's our fight or flight mechanisms. So number one, back to the point. Number one, both partners take ownership of their shit. You're going to get triggered. Show me a single relationship or a single human who's never triggered. If you don't take ownership, you won't be able to heal and integrate and move towards a secure attachment. Second point you need for a healthy relationship is alignment with the vision for the relationship. Are you guys actually going to the same destination? Because I'll use an example. Say you wanted family, you wanted to travel the world, you wanted to make a ton of money, and you wanted to do a lot of self-growth and healing. Say that was the vision for your relationship. Say the person you're dating never wanted children, never wanted to travel, hates money, doesn't want to invest their money, wants to live their life and go spend it all, and hates self-development, thinks it's a cult, and it's a scam. Can you see the conflict with that relationship? You guys are not aligned with each other. So you've got to get really clear on what's the vision for your relationship, what's the vision for your potential partner's relationship, and are you guys aligned with the non-negotiables? Don't turn someone into someone they don't want to become. If you try to do that, it's fucking frustrating, isn't it? You've probably been there before. So get clear on what do you want for your relationship? Write down non-negotiables. My definition of a non-negotiable is you would leave this person if you weren't aligned. You've got to be brutally honest. Don't bite your tongue. Don't suppress your truth. Speak your truth. Be authentic with what it is that you want. Just a side note though, make sure it's realistic. Some people have like this, and I've seen these people who have been like really traumatized and had some bad relationships. They have like 100 checklist of what their partner needs to have and has to do to be like aligned for them. And a lot of that's a trauma response. It's overcompensation. For me, I say 5 to 7. I just made that number up because it kind of feels right. Like, I'll use some examples for mine to give you some inspiration. Number one, self-growth. I could not be with someone who does not do self-growth. Second is health. I couldn't be with someone that doesn't look after their health fundamentally. Third is family. I want children. That's something that's meaningful to me. Fourth is sex and connection. Like, that's really important and meaningful to me. That's basically it. Now, there's obviously specific boundaries and standards that we learn along the way, but get clear on your vision, your partner's vision, and are you guys aligned? It's a really healthy conversation to have as well. Now, third point that you need for a conscious, healthy relationship is you learn the dance of supporting and challenging each other in a healthy way towards the vision. That's where trauma comes up. That's where triggers come up. That's where you learn to hold space and be empathetic and be understanding for your partner. And then you also learn how to challenge them and hold them accountable. Me and my wife have done both of these to each other. I'll use me as an example. There's been times where I've had a lot of shame and trauma and stuff come up, and I've literally cried my eyes out to my wife. And she's just held space and loved me unconditionally and supported me through my shit that came to the surface. And then she's also said, Lewis, be a man of your word and do the things you said you were going to do. She's held me accountable. So we learn how to do that in a healthy way. Are we perfect? Fuck no. We're humans. We get triggered. I say 80% of the time, love and support your partner in a healthy way, but give your partner 10 to 20% of grace to be triggered. Because when you're triggered, you go into a coping mechanism. You go into a trauma response. So give your partner grace to be triggered and give yourself some grace to be triggered because you're a human. But it's not about when you get triggered, it's what do you do afterwards? Do you take ownership to go heal from your stuff to move towards a secure attachment and move towards the vision of your relationship? That's the conversation for today. I hope you got some value. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. If you did, please like, please subscribe, please share it with a friend. Please stop using the attachment styles because they limit you. I'll just say one more note. The benefit of the attachment styles is understanding each other's coping patterns, so how you can relate to each other better in the meantime. It's like, okay, I understand my partner disassociates and avoids. He or she would be, quote, an avoidant attachment. I'm going to give them some space and respect their boundaries. But if that person doesn't then heal from their trauma and triggers that got them to do that pattern, they're going to keep repeating the same patterns. So there is some benefits to it, but it also becomes a limitation if you don't do what I spoke about today. Hope you got value from this, guys. Please, if you'd like to help me out or work with me in any way, shape, or form, I've got a book. Go grab it. It's on Amazon. It's on Kindle. There'll be a link below. And if you'd like a free trial to my paid coaching with a one-on-one call with me personally, there'll be a link down below as well. Appreciate you. Speak to you soon. Bye.